Emma Smith stood up at this first meeting and she remarked, quote, "We are going to do something extraordinary. We expect extraordinary occasions and pressing calls," end of quote. One of the first questions was, what should they call themselves? Now, I've just been calling it the Relief Society because that's what we call it today. And they want to know, what is our name? What do we call themselves? Joseph gives them some procedures, some counseling procedures about a chair and a motion and who can speak. And he tells them to speak openly and to speak candidly. Well, here's some of the minutes from the meeting. Moved by Councillor Cleveland and seconded by Councillor Whitney that this society be called the Nauvoo Female Relief Society. Elder Taylor offered an amendment that it be called the Nauvoo Female Benevolent Society, which would give a more definite and extended idea of the institution, that relief be struck out and benevolent be inserted. Now, I'm going to pause there for a second. It's so interesting that the first time the women start to be organized, the men stick their foot right in and try to take control. In particular, that it's a member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles saying, I think you should call it this. I don't know if there was a little bit of pressure. They're still trying to figure out how to operate in a council. But back to the minutes, when Elder Taylor says, I think you should call it the Benevolent Society, the motion was seconded by Councillor Cleveland and unanimously carried on the amendment by Elder Taylor. The president, Emma Smith, presidentess, then suggested that she would like an argument with Elder Taylor on the words relief and benevolence. I love that Emma, it's not quite sitting right with Emma. And she says, I want to talk about this a little bit. And I love this. Next line in the minutes. Motion for adjournment by Elder Richards. It's almost like, I want an argument with Elder Taylor, and Willard Richards is like, I think we should take a break. Joseph Smith objects and basically says, let's carry the dialogue forward. Back to the minutes. President Emma Smith said that the popularity of the word benevolent is one of the great objections. No person can think of the word as associated with public institutions. One of her arguments is there's lots of benevolent societies out there. We don't want to pattern ourselves after the world. We want to do something a little bit different on it. Sarah Cleveland then spoke up, and she actually said, I actually do like and support the word relief a little bit better. Eliza R. Snow spoke up and said the same thing. Back to the minutes, quote, Elder Taylor arose and said, I shall have to concede the point. Your arguments are so potent, I cannot stand before them. Joseph Smith himself also said, quote, I also have to concede the point, because he expressed a little reservations about the word relief himself. Back to the minutes, Councillor Whitney moved that this society be called the Nauvoo Female Relief Society, seconded by Councillor Cleveland. Eliza R. Snow offered an amendment by way of transposition of words. You can see her, Eliza R. Snow is such a wonderful thinker and writer. And she says, let's look at these words. Instead of the Nauvoo Female Relief Society, it shall be called the Female Relief Society of Nauvoo, seconded by President Joseph Smith and carried. The previous question was then put, shall this society be called the Female Relief Society of Nauvoo? Carried unanimously. Now, why did I want to take a minute up front to share that interesting history? Because I think it's very applicable to the modern church today. You see an example of councils and counseling happened. You see where there might, maybe if I'm reading into it, and I apologize if maybe I'm reading history a little wrong there might have been some pressure just to quickly agree, which sometimes in church councils, we just want to agree really quickly so that there's no contention. Let's not think that just because there's a disagreement or a diverging of opinions or a different view, that that's contention. Contention is different than disagreement. We know that the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, they've said it in some of their talks, that in their councils, they have differing opinions. They have disagreements. We can disagree, as President Hinckley said, without being disagreeable. In fact, in the Council of 50 Minutes, another council that Joseph sets up in Nauvoo, in those recently published minutes by the Joseph Smith paper, Joseph said that one of our problems in councils is that we don't agree to disagree long enough to select the pure gold from the dross, is what he says. Sometimes if there's something that isn't settling right, as you're in a church council, maybe you're in a Relief Society presidency or a Young Women's presidency or a youth council, a ward council, if a family council in particular, if something isn't settling right, don't have agreement be your first goal. Have getting it right and have revelation be your first goal. And sometimes revelation comes by people expressing their diverging views so that we can see things from all angles. I'm so grateful on this very first occasion of the Relief Society, to see Emma Smith not hesitate to speak her mind and to speak her opinion and to say, I disagree, I see this differently, in a spirit of loving meekness and intelligence, seeking for the right way, and then that counsel to continue. Anyway, just a side tangent, but a great invitation for all of us, women and men, as we participate in church councils, to share our views, to share them openly, but to share them lovingly and humbly as well as we seek for the right answers on things.